Now it's time to talk about something critically important to all of this: negotiating media buys. In other words, getting to the price that you're going to pay. Let's say you want to run some ads across these networks, and I highly recommend that you do. If you're in business for real, your job is to get more leads and customers any profitable place you can get them from. And these sources, these ad networks, control so much traffic, you can find some really good hidden places to drive traffic a lot more profitably than you may get it from AdWords or Facebook or anywhere else. So you definitely want to be testing this stuff. It's very, very valuable. So let me give you some tips from someone who's done it and has experience with this stuff, and hopefully I can help save you some money. So everything is negotiable pretty much. These retail rates that they'll quote you, the minimum they'll ask you to spend, and if they do it by CPM or CPC, everything's negotiable. So it never hurts to ask for a better rate. And you can use all kinds of excuses. You can say, I'm just getting started, my business is new, I have a limited budget, I do want to advertise with you, but no, I can't do a minimum spend of $2,000. How about $500? Or no, I don't think I can spend 50 cents a click from our other tests that we've run, but we could pay 30 cents a click. Always try to negotiate. Again, it can't hurt to ask. Sometimes they will be flexible, sometimes people won't be, but it never hurts to ask, because they're selling ether, they're selling air. These ad spaces and impressions, it's just part of the internet. They're not selling you a real product, widget, or thing. Yes, these ad impressions have value, but only based on what the market is currently paying. So there's no set, kind of cost of goods for these ads being delivered, because it's all digital and mostly profit. Now, most networks require a signed insertion order, it's called, or an IO. When you agree to advertise, and you agree to how many impressions you're going to buy, and you agree to how much you're going to pay, they'll send you a contract. You'll have to fax it, sign it, typically fax it back, email it back, before they'll start running your ads. So it's called putting in an insertion order. Same thing in the TV ad world. You would do the same thing buying airtime for your commercial. It's how most of these networks work online. Not all. Some of them have systems you can go in and just buy traffic like AdWords or Facebook does it. But some of them will require an insertion order, and they're bringing that over from the old school ad agency world of TV advertising. And one thing I do have to say, we're talking about everything is negotiable. There are some very shady characters in the whole media traffic world online, and offline for TV too. You have to understand that these salespeople, they're paid by commission, and ultimately, it seems like in theory they want you to generate an ROI, a return on investment for your ads, that you'd come back and buy more ads from them, and that they would make more money and they would build a long-term relationship with you. Not usually the case, unfortunately. They have kind of a churn 'em and burn 'em mentality. Many of these guys, and women both, if salespeople, they don't care if you make a profit. The money they make in their jobs is how much advertising they can sell you. They really, unfortunately, it's sad, but they really don't care what the advertising does for your business, whether you lose money from it or not. Not always. There's always exceptions. But for most of the things I've seen, the advertising agency, it's a bunch of knuckleheads. It really is. They're out for themselves. They're out to sell for max dollar. They get fat commissions. They don't really care about your results. Again, there's always an exception where some people might look to build a long-term relationship, but because why? Here's why. They know most advertising won't become profitable. They know most businesses don't have systems in place to effectively convert that traffic into a profit. So they know most people that buy from them are one-time customers. They're never coming back. So because of that, and it's hard to blame them, they just focus on making the sale and not what happens next. But you have to be careful of that. Don't fall for anyone's slick talking. Don't, buy into any of the, I really want to help you succeed, so you keep coming back. Again, there are exceptions, but most of them don't really care. Ask ad brokers to show you recent ad campaign examples for your market. So if you approach one of these networks and they assign, someone to contact you or to email you to help you place an order for buying ad space, they're going to ask you, what's your business? What do you sell? Well, here are options for verticals you can pick from to try to have your ad run on a similar site. Ask them, say, have you recently run any ads, or the network has, for vegan weight loss plans or anything vegan related? Or have you done anything with self-defense and street fighting? Whatever's related to your business. Have you done anything with housewares? Lamps, silverware sets, couches. Again, whatever it is you sell. Ask the broker if they can show you some recent campaign examples. The kind of ads and things that someone in your market has used in their network, and a lot of times they will show you, because it's anything they can do to make the sale. Imagine if they go, well, we've never had anyone that tried to run an ad for that kind of weight loss program. Well, then you may say, oh, well, that scares me to death. I'm not going to be the guinea pig to test out your network. But they want to hit you with social proof. Oh, yeah, we have the biggest weight loss programs advertise with us all the time because they make tons of money. This is the place you want to advertise. But ask them for examples. Request as many demographics and interests that you know about your buyers. Typically, a lot of these ad networks won't be able to give into all your requests. Their system isn't set up for it. They may have some age stuff, some gender things. They may have topic or interest, but they may not have, zip code location, or they may not necessarily have, salary, areas. They may not have something else. Well, the more they don't have, the more leverage you have to negotiate a better deal, because you're like, well, I typically like to be able to target, the male or female, the salary range, the countries, the language, if they like camping, whatever it is. So that gives you that puts you more in a negotiating position. Here's what you need to know. This is critical. This all comes from the ad agency world of TV. So this is stuff most digital marketers don't even know about or realize. But there's about a 15 to 20% discount that's built into the retail prices that these networks will give you. So when you contact them direct to run some ads, to set up an account and run your ads across their network, they're going to give you retail prices, the top price. Well, you have to know there's almost always a 15 to 20% discount that's readily available under that normal price that they give to ad agencies. So if an ad agency came to them on behalf of you as their client and said, hey, we're running some ads for our client that's in the weight loss industry, the price that they're going to get is 15 to 20% lower than the price you can get directly. And what they do is they typically will still charge you, that ad agency, they'll charge you the full price, but the way they make their money is on that 15 to 20% difference. They keep it. But it's just standard in the ad agency world that most ad agencies, get that little buffer there, that 15 to 20%. So knowing this, there's a couple things for you to realize. One is, if you deal with any ad agencies, they're making money off you, off everything you spend. Two, if you deal with any ad brokers trying to negotiate, know that they can come down at least 15%, because they do for other ad agencies. And if you have to call them out on it in your negotiations, you can say, look, I know you have a 15 to 20% ad agency discount that you provide as part of the industry. Let's split the difference. At least give me 10% off the rate that you're quoting me. So that's something that you can use. Now, something you may want to consider, this is a little more gray area. It's questionably the ethics of it, or whatever you want to call it, are kind of gray area. But to some, it's not a big deal. Depends on your business, depends on your buying power, depends on the amount of money that you're spending. And if you're spending tons of money and not really getting great discounts, consider this. Consider starting your own ad agency. It's perfectly legal. You can create, an LLC, probably for $300 or $400 in your state or in another state. Form the company, give it a name, the something agency, even set up a domain name for it, and contact these networks on behalf of your other business as the client. And you have an ability to negotiate much lower rates in many cases than you can get as the advertiser directly. I know many companies that do this. Again, it's not illegal or anything. It's some administrative stuff you may not want to mess with in starting the other company, and having it where you're signing contracts and then you pay the network and then your business pays this other LLC you set up. But it's an option. And if you are spending tons and tons of money, and if a network won't give you a really good deal, and if you could find out that you can get a better deal if you own the ad agency, then consider doing it. A lot of old direct marketers that did a lot of direct mail and a lot of magazine advertising and even TV advertising, they did this. They would just start their own ad agency as another business and then represent themselves because they were spending so much money. So those are some tips for you to help you save money, because again, the more you save, the higher your profits go from the traffic that you buy.